Hi, I'm Don Peterson. I'm a chiropractor here in Corvallis, and I've been practicing here for about 21 years. And today I'm going to be talking about neutral spine, and it's a concept that we're trying to engage these days to keep our back in a more neutral and mechanically balanced position, since most of our injuries happen when we get to the full end range of our movements in our back. We want to try to hold our spine in that neutral spine position and keep it at its most efficient position, and then let the muscles of our body bear the weight instead of the structures as much as possible. So the first one is just in your standing posture is maintaining a normal proportion of the curves of your back. So if we relax and slouch too much from a standing position, we go into the forward tilt of our pelvis and too much of an arch in our lower back and too much of a upper back curve, and that leads to head forward posture. So by just engaging our abdominals and lifting our pelvis up from the front and keeping our chest up a little bit, we can maintain our neutral spine with a little bit more muscular effort, but we're not leaning on our structure as bad. So it's more mechanically suitable, better posture for us mechanically, and doesn't wear our bodies out. So from that neutral spine position, with our abdominals lifting the front of our pelvis, as we go throughout the day and we start moving from that position, we can engage this movement we call the hip hinge. So I can keep my back in its neutral position as I bend and pivot at the hips instead of bending and making my spine do the motion. So one way to practice that is by putting your arms in your hands in the small of your back and pulling your shoulder blades together and try to bend forward. So your spine will stay relatively motionless as you pivot around your hips. You will feel your hamstrings tightening up, and that's one reason we want to keep our hamstring flexibility, because that will allow our pelvis to move forward and allow more motion in our hips instead of in our spine. Then I'm going to run through just a few stretches that we should all be engaging in. So now I'm going to go through just a few basic spine movements that we can all practice. From a four-point position on your hands and knees, do the cat-camel stretch. So this is the cat phase and the camel. And just run your back through several cycles of this movement. And when that is feeling relaxed, then arch back into this child pose or prayer position. And from there, stretch into this extension position. And in our next phase, we'll talk about keeping the neutral spine while in your sitting posture.